This is how we do it. Today, the videos will be very interesting. Maybe something you do not expect, but expect the unexpected. Hi guys, hope you're doing good and everything is fine and dandy on your side of the globe. Today we are going to talk about this bad boy here. It is a 12.6-500 reference Rolex Daytona. A really cool piece. And I cannot wait to talk with you about that beautiful watch. But before we get started, I got to move this car and I will jump into another one. So stay tuned. I thought we are going to take this M4 here. In the background you hear the GT-R running. And you know, nothing else is screaming more racing, you know, and car heritage than a Rolex Daytona. And that is the reason why we will continue with this bad boy. It is really a rare opportunity for me to really show you both cars side by side next to each other. And I gotta tell you guys, even though the M4 is really a nice car, you know, to drive, it just can't stand, you know, the power and the way how the Nissan GT-R is really delivering everything. Be it, you know, as a street car, a race car, yeah, call it whatever. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to talk about the real subject. Just have to park the cars. The GT-R is parked, and now we're going to jump into the BMW M4. I know guys, the subject is the Daytona. We're going to talk about it. Now as promised, I am with the Daytona back in the BMW M4. And I will take it a little bit for a spin. Y'all be watching with me. My wife will film everything, and yeah, we will talk about the Daytona. It's really nice to drive the M4. I'm apologizing for the clicking sounds of the blinkers, and of course the start-stop automatic. I hate that. However, you know, if you are a true watch or car enthusiast, you gotta have either of those. Either a BMW M4 or, no, let's phrase it differently. You gotta have a super sport car or a sports car like the BMW, and a nice sports watch. And you know, get out of here if you try to convince me about a Tag Heuer, which should now represent a Formula 1 sports watch. I'm not buying into that. But a Rolex Daytona, guys, is the freaking pinnacle. You know, everyone stands behind that. No Patek Philippe with a sports model here. You understand? No Vacheron Constantin with a sports model here. And of course, no plastic watch as a Richard Mille as a sports model in front of that model. Now, the reason why I decided to have a Rolex Daytona is basically, after a while in the collection world, you do understand, oh God, I love how this BMW M4 is so quiet, you know? I do not have him in Sport Plus mode. That's the reason why the car is so quiet, and I can really comfortably talk with you guys without having to scream. Regardless, where was I at? The reason why is, after a while in the collection world, you really start thinking, man, now I have the Omega Seamaster 300, the S&P 300, awesome watch, but it's not it. People say to you, yeah, well, you did not have enough money to buy yourself a Submariner. And you really start to dig a little bit deeper, get into the rabbit hole of watch collecting, and then you truly understand a Rolex Daytona is the thing, you know. It's the absolute watch that you gotta have if you are a car and watch enthusiast. If you're collecting cars, you gotta have a Rolex Daytona. I heard rumors that people like to say a Chopin Mille Miglia is a nice watch, and I second that. I say it's a nice watch, but it can't stand ground against a Rolex Daytona, guys, especially this one. It is a 12.6-500, and what I love about the watch is it is, you know, remembering the good old days, the starting, how the Rolex Daytona got into the watch world. I love the steel bezel, that Rolex really was truly appreciative of its heritage. I love that. I love its slim. I love it the way really how the overall appearance with the ceramic bezel is coming through when you look at the overall design of the watch. And as I said, if you are into cars, I would say I'm not against it that you wear a Richard Mille. Not at all. But you should consider a Rolex Daytona. So as you see here, the way how this watch really is sitting on my wrist, absolutely beautiful, perfectly executed design that you see here. And then, to be honest with you, who am I? Such a little tiny gear of everything. I'm a tiny little gear, and now I'm trying to criticize Rolex. Come on, man. Not gonna happen. Of course it's not gonna happen, but I'm just, if Rolex watches this, just telling my own, you know, experience. Same as I own a Nissan GT-R, now I have this BMW M4, and I'm telling you guys the honest truth that BMW M4 cannot stand ground against the Nissan GT-R. It's just a 3.0 liter engine, inline 6, with 530 horsepower, compared to, of course, the Nissan GT-R 3.8 liter V6 with 550 horsepower. And you also have to understand that a BMW M4, for example, has 0 to 60 3.9 seconds. And when you then try to compare it with a Nissan GT-R, a Nissan GT-R has 0 to 100 in 2.6 seconds. So you always have to understand what you are dealing with, and that's the same thing, guys. I had so many watches, been through so much. I'm a long-term collector, and I gotta tell you guys, nothing beats a Jet 2. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing beats this Rolex Daytona. It is one of the freaking coolest watches you guys really can get, you know. And the thing is, if you ever consider to buy yourself a Rolex Daytona, I would say as a starter watch, you guys should think about buying a steel model. I just played a little bit with the gas and, you know, came off track, so sorry guys. You gotta understand, get yourself a steel model. If you're new into the game, you will, in Germany we say, you will puke into the triangle. When you buy yourself a watch in gold, you know, it's too weak and too fragile, and you will have a hard time, you know, keeping the watch in nice condition. Whereas the Rolex Daytona in steel is a good option. Wow, this car really makes noises, right? But yeah, regardless, what I like about this car, for example, from the transmission to the motor, you know, you have your electrical little gremlins that are helping you staying on track. It's not as powerful as I told you, like the Nissan GT-R, but nonetheless, it is cool. It is a nice Nice car. And you know what I like? I just went off the brake pedal and the car is standing, and now when I press the gas, the car is rolling. It's interesting. It's a different approach of, you know, how the car really reacts to your commandos. Nice thing, what I don't like about the car is it's too much stuff going on, man. It's so distracting. I have a freaking iPad, you know, shining the whole time in my face. Okay, I'm old school. I need the old M4 F82 appearance for me to be happy with it. But, you know, if you're getting this BMW M4, you gotta accept how it comes, and you gotta understand what it tries to represent. And that's that, guys, you know. Ça c'est ça, like the French guys like to say, love to refer about. This car is, of course, a nice addition to every collection. Okay, you have to understand that it's a nice addition to every collection, and it will light up your collection. But if you have in your car collection Nissan GT-R, it will just be a nice daily rocker. That's how I see the car. It's nothing really a car that should be taken too serious, as it's not that venomous, you know, to bring it to the point as a Nissan GT-R. You know, the GT-R is very, very aggressive, and on point. It's like you're riding a bike, but you're driving a car, you know, and that's how you could compare it. So do not be fooled by people telling you the M4 is super fast. Maybe if you before that had maybe, I don't know, an RS6 or something like that, then you would say, okay, the car is super fast. But not, man, not if you drive a Nissan GT-R. You know the meme with the guy sitting in a roller coaster and not having, you know, a reaction on his face while everyone is screaming? Same with this here. If you are driving a Nissan GT-R, it's hard to get impressed. You know, it's hard to get something from newer cars, and to be someone that is saying, all right, I'm going to, you know, have another fun bad boy. This car is a nice grocery getter, don't get me wrong. Of course you can go on a racetrack, but if you had, you know, if you tasted the forbidden sauce, so to say, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so don't listen to those guys that will say this car is beating GT-Rs in stock condition. No freaking way. What is cool about the car, and I will get back to the Rolex Daytona soon, is, you know, you have all kind of things. You have your head-up display, you got your little informations in regards, hey, I can play around with a suspension settings, and I can play around with the motor settings, stuff like that, which the GT-R also has. But this one is, you know, a little bit more modern. I mean, it's a 2025, and they're giving you some options to play with. You got nice and beautiful screens here. I don't care what kind of pixel and stuff like that. It's not really my field of expertise. Regardless of that, it's interesting. What I don't like about the car, and what I don't like about the interior, even though I do dig the carbon fiber trim that you see here, I don't like, and please be so kind, just show that here. Look at that. Look what they did here. They separated the freaking car, I mean the dashboard that you see here, and it really looks ugly. I don't like that at all. It's absolutely uncool. Wow, you know, I just got reminded of my old days. I see now a 4.0 Ford Mustang silver. Man, I like that. I really like that. And you know, I will never forget my roots, guys. I will never forget my roots. I know where I'm coming from. I know what kind of cars I set into, what cars I owned, and I'm grateful for being able to afford a Nissan GT-R. Of course I am. I am grateful to be able to have this car now, that I'm sitting right now in this car. And what can I say? It's easy now, much easier for me to read through the lines than before. You know, back in the days, I listened to all the marketing and hyped up hyped up stuff, you know, and you were like, oh my god. So if I now buy a Ford Mustang, I will destroy the M3 E92. I bought the 5.0 Mustang GT and ended up selling it a half year later for what? To buy an M3 E92. So don't be fooled. And now, as I said, I'm not even having it in sports mode. Interesting. All right, Fancy, we're going now to the place, right? Where is a little bit more? All right, gotcha, guys. Yeah, we stand here. Just stand here, have a little bit more time to speak about the car, show the people the car from the outside. All is good. All right, just keep the thing running. Just keep it running, Francie. I will. Yeah, I will leave it as that. Thanks. All right, guys, let's check out the car from the outside. Green color, I don't freaking care how you call it. But there she is. There she is. 2025 Nissan GT. No, 2025 BMW M4. I don't know what kind of how they are now called, G or F or whatever. Directly from Bavaria. Test car. Woohoo! It looks nice. We're thinking about buying it with a yellow, you know, yellow paint. They got those awesome looking yellow ones. And without that, you know, that in your face, bitch. M decals, we don't need that. But all in all, the car is really, really beautiful. Nice, nice, nice. And when you look at the brims, for example, of course there's always a little bit improvement to make, but hey, it's a stock wheel coming on P0s. No playing, no games here. Beautifully made, really. I gotta tell you that, guys. You hear it? And again, I am not going to take the car into sports mode. You know, it's not my car, so why should we really quench the soul out of this thing? Yeah, nice car, really. What I really found out about this car, guys, is that compared to the Nissan GT-R, it is much narrower. Yeah, the GT-R is much wider, and not for nothing it is a Godzilla. But this one, as I said, is a beautiful car. Does make a lot of fun, has enough power for you, you know, to play with, and of course to be safe, especially here in Germany when we are in the Autobahn. Sometimes situations can happen and you gotta be, you know, very fast from 1 second, from one point to the other, to really fast accelerate. And I would say this car can really handle that and can do that, and you're always safe. And when we're talking about stopping power, guys, the brakes on the GT-R are uncool. They're, you know, the operation of them are a little bit, how you call it, a little bit spongy, while this thing, guys, this caliper is incredibly badass. I truly enjoy it. You know, you tap, you freaking just tap on the brakes and it's just awesome. Just awesome. If you're interested about, you know, the specs of this car, man, just Google it up. We got ChatGPT. Do a screenshot, you know, send it to ChatGPT. Have all the specs, everything you see from ChatGPT, man. I am not your, you know, personal Google, so I'm just delivering a few videos, and of course, you know, this bad boy here. Yeah, gotta tell you guys, I'm super happy with it. Super happy, and do not get fooled by people, you know, telling you, oh, the legibility of that watch is not good because everything is black and, you know, you can't see shit. Not true. Look at that. You just turn a little bit into the angle of the watch and everything is shining. Let me just zoom a little bit more in. Look at that. Woo, 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 woo. Awesome, awesome. And I gotta also admit, it already had some scratches, you know. It's of course because I love wearing the watch, but nevertheless, still looks good, right? Now back to the bad boy. Woohoo! It's just an illusion. Yeah. Whee. Now I think I'm going to take these ones as a voiceover. I don't know, maybe not. I would just don't give a shit and, you know, shoot out a video. Yeah, and for all you hating bitches out there, I am not monetized. I do that for free. So, yeah, either you enjoy it or get the fuck out of here. And guys, I gotta be honest with you. If someone would, you know, lay on the table this BMW M4 or Rolex Daytona Platinum with, you know, the brown bezel, steel ring, and maybe baguette diamond hour markers, I'm telling you the truth, guys. I would go for the Daytona. I would not waste a second to jump on that Daytona. I don't know what it is. I just love the Rolex Daytona more. It's just an illusion. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right. Look how quiet the BMW M4 can get, you know, if you do not keep it in Sport Plus mode. And this is very beneficial, especially for people, you know, that do not like to have, for example, too loud noises, but still, you know, love the beneficiary sound and look and design of a sports car, you know. So it's a nice balance that BMW managed to, you know, at the end of the day, get across, and kudos to them. And what I find still, you know, every car manufacturer right now is you have nowhere a mobile phone holder, especially for us guys that like to film, you know. We would like to have here, for example, a mobile holder so we can have, you know, a view from that part or from here. But no, BMW is in 2025 and still not managed to do that. But I'm just kidding. Every car manufacturer still did not got that idea to understand that the love to film needs somewhere, you know, to put the freaking phone. So guys, if you see this, think about it. And look at that. They have Harbin Condor speakers. Woo-hoo! Harbin Condor. Neam, neam. Fancy, hold that phone steady so I can really have a nice look on the German Autobahn. I like it. Let's go. 530 horsepower. And it's not a slouch, but as I said, you cannot compare it to a Nissan GT-R. Ah, yeah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Come on, let's do one run. Woohoo! Woohoo! I like that. I really do. Da 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 da. Man, man. Yeah, Francie, you can now turn off the cam. Rolex Daytona. Woo-hoo! Rolex Daytona. You got kidding me. It's a Rolex 12-6-500 Daytona. Hee hee. Ow! Gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. 530 horsepower. Yeah, that's about the car and about the watch 12-6-500, guys. I love it. I really love it. I love wearing it. I have also, you know, on the side my other pieces. And to understand what kind of guy I am, I like tactical watches. I like, for example, watches that are, you know, kind of leaning to the classical, you know, kind of classical way of life and living. But I dig, you know, sports watches, tactical watches, and I got the feeling that even with a little bit more classy looking Rolex Daytona, I still have, you know, a little bit, I have the kind of, you know, sparkle of tactical. I hope you understand what I mean. It's not that easy to describe, but for example, I have an EZM1. And I have an EZM 1.1 Zen tactical military watch. And even though these are two different watches, I kind of, you know, like wearing, when I had the Zen for quite a while, I like wearing my Daytona. Because I have the feeling it's a watch that is coming a little bit closer to the tactical mindset, to the chronograph ideology, so to say. And that's how I love, you know, switching up in my collection. And to be honest with you, for being a Rolex Daytona, a classical piece, it is still a super versatile watch. I mean, you look at that watch and you can wear it on a strap easily. You look at that watch and you can wear it easily, guys, on a NATO. It's working. It's working because it is a Rolex Daytona. And Rolex did for me, in my opinion, everything right with this watch. I hope there will not be too much iterations of that watch. I hope they will discontinue it. I know we had a lot of yada yada talk about the Rolex Pepsi, about the discontinuation, and what have you not. But I hope they keep the heritage of the Rolex Daytona by discontinuing it. You know, they did it already with the 11 series, and I really celebrated that when I've seen that. But now I think it comes to a point where you gotta admit it's not going to get better. You know, it's just not going to get better. What should Rolex do in your honest opinion? Should they put a red dial on a Rolex Daytona steel? No. Should they slap on that a blue ceramic insert? No. Should they try to look like some of those infamous, and I hate those guys, people and companies that are trying to mock the watches? No. It is perfect as it is. And guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little, I don't know, chaotic roundabout about the Nissan GT-R, the BMW M4 from 2025, and my Rolex Daytona. And if so, keep the haters button down and the lovers button up. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And we're gonna see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.